Michael L. Woodley, AIA, President, Woodley Architectural Group.
When I grew up as a kid, I used to skate. Some people refer to it as sort of Dogtown. I grew up in Santa Monica, and I went to Culver City High School, and most of Dogtown was Venice, which Culver City wasn't quite as cool as Venice, but I hung out with a lot of those guys. There's something better that's out there for me, and I knew it. I mean, ever since like I was like in 7th grade, I took a drafting class, and I said, this is cool, drawing is what I want to do. And I drew even in elementary school, and I used to draw like the coolest waves and guys surfing on these waves. I was great at drawing waves. I loved doing that. So I always knew drawing was my passion, and then in 7th grade took a drafting class and said, you know, this is something I'm going to do. And I decided right then and there I was going to be an architect. I love architecture with movement, and so maybe there's some kind of connection, but I wouldn't say that it's like, you know, oh, check out this building, that the roof looks like a wave, because no one could afford to build that. So I decided to work for a Mission VO company right out of school, and I look back at that path, and it was such a great thing. I was so lucky that I did that, because it gave me sort of the view of the builder, how the builder looks at the world, a little different than someone who just has an architectural education and is, you know, purely an architectural. So I was able to work with Mission VO Company for 4 years, and I think that was great. And that led me to go to Kaufman and Broad and work and kind of have that still that same housing thing. And so it really became more than just doing architecture. You know, it got me involved in marketing and then understanding land positions. And then I did merchandising as well as national contracts. I got involved in so many more things by taking this path of the builder. And then really at that one point I said, you know, I have all this background with working with housing companies. Now I really want to focus on the architecture, but work for housing companies and bring that as an asset to builders. And it actually has worked out really well. I think it's a great upbringing to have that exposure of working for a builder. I sometimes jokingly say my favorite project is the next one, because the reality is I don't feel like I'm sort of done yet. I want to keep doing new stuff. But there's been some interesting projects that we've done that I feel have been, you know, kind of cool stuff. I mean, at KB we did this upside down house, and before we knew it, we were doing it all over California. And then other builders started, you know, kind of doing versions of it. So I love doing stuff that motivates others to do good design. And so we did the upside down house, and then we did these little ideas of what we called the Loftus. It was sort of inspired from trips to Mexico, where you take any little corner or nick or cranny of a house and turn it into a function. And that was back when, before laptops, and we had to have a place for a computer. So we kind of created that kind of space for people. Yeah, so when I left Kaufman and Broad, I really, in some ways, felt somewhat liberated, because I mean, I had a lot of things in me that I felt like now I can really do. Kaufman and Broad, you know, has a direction, a kind of product they do, and I really felt there was a lot of other things in me. And so it gives me an opportunity to do custom homes and high-end stuff and really test some very interesting ideas and concepts that I really, you know, felt like I needed the freedom to do that. I love the way architecture can move people. Sometimes I don't even know it, but I love the way when someone walks into a space, how they react. And then I love how that relates to housing and how somebody will be inspired enough by a space to want to buy and live in that space. So it just excites me to be able to do that. And so always thinking about new ways of doing old things is something that will just, you know, motivates me to so much. I just keep on wanting to try to do that. And thinking of a different way of living, we call it e-living, living elevated, because right now it's like what touches the ground eats up land. And so we want to get people up in the air. And so we think, you know, thinking about how people are going to live in the future. So I love that kind of stuff. And so I think we've got some cool things, but that's going forward. And so I don't want to sort of rest on the things we've done in the past or the awards, because, I mean, that's all great and that's neat stuff, but I'm really looking for stuff in the future. And typically what I do is our group gets involved in projects where architecture can serve a need. And so we use our skill to help with that. We've done, you know, a number of these playhouse projects. We worked with St. Jude's. We did a house that raised over $1 million. And the cool thing was we said, hey, let's enter that for sort of a Gold Nugget Spirit Award. Let's try some cool ideas. It's going to be a giveaway home. And then what do you know, we won Home of the Year with it. And then we just recently did a project, Rivers of Recovery, which I really is a great organization. It takes veterans that have come back from war and are having a little bit difficult time maybe assimilating in, and takes them out fly fishing. And we actually rebuilt a barn that was in Michigan, took it down, rebuilt it and re-skinned it, redid the inside and planned this facility. So that's a really cool one. So we're involved in a lot of different kinds of projects like that, and I feel it's really important when the opportunity arises for us to get involved. We have a lot of young people in our office, and I love to share sort of the passion that I have, and hopefully that it inspires our younger group. And we do have a number of young people that are working with us, and I love the energy. Now, I'm like the old dog because I can't use the computer the way they use, and I still hand sketch, and I keep telling them, you got to draw, you got to draw. And so I really want everyone to be drawing in our office, even though that they're so good on the computer and so skillful. And we use that, but we still have some hand drawing that we do. There's nothing like taking a plan and sketching it in front of a client and bringing it to life. And so we try to bring that back. And a lot of the schools is a forgotten art, to do this kind of thing. And so we really try to teach that in our office, that we still want that hand. There's something between the hand and the eye and the brain that all kind of works together. And so we really want our group doing that. But it's neat to see our young group coming through, and there's some really, really good architects coming up. So I've been married 32 years to Carol, and she's gone with me on this journey, and she's put up with me, but she's also inspired me and grounded me, and but just shared a lot of this with me. I've dragged her to so many model homes. I know she's sick of that. And then we have 3 daughters, and I remember carrying them around as babies, walking houses and framing. And they all now are sort of followed creative careers. My first love is my wife and my family, but I spend on my free time, I like to paddleboard, but probably my passion is ice hockey. I still play ice hockey. I grew up playing ice hockey, and I actually own a hockey team in Texas. It feels like it keeps me young. It may just beat me up a little bit, but I love it, so I'm going to continue to play hockey. I got to tell you, I was really shocked when I first found out about getting into the Hall of Fame. It's not something sort of that I dreamt of, because I love doing architecture, but it's not like my goal is to get into the Hall of Fame. But since then, it's really come to mean a lot to me, and what it means to be part of this organization, and to be one of the few architects that are as part of this group. These guys are like legends, and I sort of feel like I'm this guy that just really works hard and loves what I do, and to sort of be honored like this goes way beyond anything I really dreamt of or thought would ever happen. And so it really means a lot to me to be part of this group. I still am probably a little bit shocked by it, but I really feel like really great to be part of this group.